Hey folks, Species 7 here. How's everybody doing? Got a new game for you here today. This is Industry Empire, and I'm really looking forward to playing this one. This is sort of a modern age farming giants, which is one of my favorite games, but with other industries on top. But it is much more like Farming Giant than it is, say, the old Industry Tycoon or Industry Giant game. So, kind of a caveat, this is Logic and Insomnia games, which might send some people running. Because basically, well, we're just going to jump into free play here, by the way, because I'm not actually going to start a game right now, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So, you have a choice of 3 different places to start, and they do appear that they'd probably be a little more difficult depending on where you started. But so there have been some issues with games with those particular company banners on them. So far, I haven't run into that with this one. Alright, those of you familiar with Farming Giant might go, oh my god, this is the same game. Well, it's probably closer to that than you might imagine. Same sort of minis map, works exactly the same way. You can click an area, like this looks like one of the big market areas. There you go, that's South Market, there's North Market. We have a town here. Not much of one, but 'tis a town nonetheless. And, might be an interesting place to start our farm, actually. Halfway between the town and the market. Might be cool. So those sort of things are pretty much the same. Your movement is the same. Top of the screen, bottom, side to side. If you hold down the right, you can shift your view around, which is really helpful. Zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. And it does actually zoom fairly well. Piece of road's kind of faded there. But lots of traffic. They must be heading over to the market. Cool. Graphically, it is, well, not brilliant, but it is certainly all that you need from a game like this, right? Now this is showing because that's so close. This keeps coming up. I really wish it wouldn't, actually. There we go. Yeah, all of the areas are sort of, you got a fairly varied terrain. You have your money breakdowns up here. This is a breakdown of your hired workers, your time, your weather. You can have a look ahead a little bit. Looks like we're heading for some rain in a couple of days. This controls your speed from pause to much faster. Here you have a skill tree, because as you progress in this game, you actually unlock more things. You start out with very few buildings, very few crops available, etc. And you unlock things as you go. Planting crops, selling stuff, building things, all of these contribute towards you leveling up. Alright, and as you level up, you can pick skills. You know, things that'll do things like this. You can get a little bit faster crop growth, or a little bit faster small animal and big animal growth, a little faster in your breweries or beverages, etc., etc. And you pick and choose. You also get achievements for just doing random things, you know, like once you've mined 500 uranium, you'll get an achievement, you'll get a couple of skill points to put towards your skill tree. This is bonuses. You'll find little yellow boxes all over the map. Not in free mode, though. But you will find them in your career modes, your, what the heck they call them, scenarios. You will find them there. And they'll give you all kinds of bonuses, like a free truck, 20% crop growth increase for 20 days or 40 days, those sort of things. And then you have luxury upgrades, and those basically, they're sort of a random event, and when you get one of these, they're these sort of things, and actually build one, you unlock bonuses. So there you go. Your mini-map, there's main menu. They have a decent help menu, like very decent help menu. Tells pretty much everything you could want to figure out. They have Your log, don't have any messages because we've actually done nothing. Production chains, again, we don't have anything like that going on. This is part of the automation. And then down here you can actually pick a vehicle to follow. And again, we don't actually have any, so we'll turn that off. This is your building stuff. You would of course start by buying land. And when we go to the create, it'll actually show you, okay, there's an awful big zone around that town we're not allowed to build in. Right? So you want to find somewhere where there's some fairly decent chunk of property. There's the other market. We could kind of build in between them. And maybe we'll do that. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing a let's play from this point. Right? And to get your property, you simply left click another spot to say there, to say there, and as long as it doesn't turn red, you're pretty much in the zone. So we can buy this simply by clicking confirm, and there you go. We now have a piece of property. So zoom out and have a look, and we have a piece of property right next to South Market Station. Wow. Next thing we'd want is buildings. And I'm not going to go too far into this part of it because that's basically the start of a let's play. The reason I don't want to is beginning of next week, in other words in 3 or 4 days, they're releasing the first major patch for this. We're going to start with a residential. And that major patch adds a lot of automation that makes this game make a lot more sense. Okay, so yeah. Now you always start with the residential, plant it down, because this is where you're going to get your workers from, and no other buildings will work without it. So we will start with that, and it will slowly build it, providing we're actually in a normal time. You can see the build percentages, right? And these small residences will allow you, I believe, 8 workers. You can hire 8 workers, right? We are very limited right now in our buildings. This is basically everything you need to get a town or your own area started, right? Natural resources, again, we have chicken coops and farms. That's it. The entire thing here, the rest of it we don't have. We have no industry yet and no high tech. Again, to do that, you have to earn it by doing things, like building things, etc., 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 right? So, all the rest of it plays out pretty much like you'd expect, right? Once this is built, almost there, boom, and it right away comes up with a flash, because it needs water and it needs electricity to run. You can't even hire workers until that's done. So you'll build a water plant, an electric plant, and that'll get that up and running. And then you'd want to start with some farms, some industries, logistics, etc., etc. But like I said, I just wanted to, let's quickly go across this panel since we haven't. The land tool I've already showed you, that allows you to purchase, and lay out land. Your road tool, everything has to be connected to a road. So, click create, and you can simply click on the building, click on a road, and it will automatically join it. If you like the way it did it, you can click that. It's now connected. So it will have road access. Any other buildings we make, we can connect to the road, and they will manage to get the vehicles from building to building. Some buildings don't need to be connected, like water and electricity. They just need to exist. But any building you need to get a truck to, like your workers so they can drive to work, your farms, your mines, etc., must be connected to a road. So there you go. However, I think I'm actually going to end it here. And see, if we click on it, you'll get the specs for it. We can hire some workers, but first thing we've got to do, of course, like I said, is get power and water hooked up. But we're really not going to bother with that, guys. When the patch is released, I am going to start a scenario, let's play, And we will work our way through the scenarios until you guys just don't want to see any more of these. But till then, I wanted to give you a quick look at it, let you know I'm going to be doing this. I'm super excited. I loved Farming Giant, and this seems to be a rebuild with a bunch more stuff added, which is awesome and cool. Providing it doesn't crash every time we play, it'll be 10 steps above already. So I'm looking forward to it. I really hope you guys are too. In the meantime, if you want to see this series go forward, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a dislike if there's something I've done horribly, horribly wrong. Favorites, shares, subs, you guys know the routine. Anyway, till next we meet, this has been Species 7 for Industry Empire, and take care of each other, folks. Ciao for now.